The afternoon began like any other Tuesday in Cottonwood Estates, our picture-perfect gated community just outside Tallahassee. I was in my garage, carefully polishing my Harley Davidson while juggling a conference call with the state attorney's office about an HOA fraud case I was consulting on. That's when the chaos erupted. Not one patrol car, but 3 cruisers screamed down our usually serene street, sirens wailing like a scene from an action movie. Above them, a drone hovered, its lens locked on my property as if it were gathering evidence for a Hollywood thriller. On my lawn, 15-year-old Trevor Well lay sprawled like a fallen warrior, clutching a Monster energy drink and screaming as if life itself had abandoned him. Beside him, Claudia Well, our HOA president and self-declared neighborhood enforcer, stood with arms crossed, dressed in her trademark power-walking outfit, a smug smirk plastered across her face. She shrieked something about child theft, pointing at me like I was a villain from a superhero flick. "That man emotionally damaged my son," she bellowed as the officers approached. He refused to give Trevor his motorcycle under the youthful desires provision. "Arrest him immediately." I just kept polishing the chrome. My Bluetooth earpiece crackled with the voice of Assistant State Attorney Harrison, who was silently taking in every word of this spectacle. The officers exchanged glances, clearly perplexed. The youthful desires provision exists nowhere except in Claudia's imagination. One officer stepped closer, cautious, while I calmly explained constitutional property law to Harrison, loud enough for everyone to hear. "My name is Dale Baum," I said, my tone measured but firm. "I'm a semi-retired security consultant who moved to Cottonwood Estates 3 years ago seeking peace. I have simple pleasures, strong coffee, my vintage Harley, and blessed silence. I keep to myself, maintain my property, and follow one rule. Leave me alone, and I'll return the favor." Unfortunately, Claudia Well never received that memo. She had been HOA president for 6 years, ruling our little corner of the world with an iron fist wrapped in passive-aggressive notes. This was the woman who once threatened legal action against a neighbor's golden retriever for allegedly excessive sniffing near her prized roses. Her son, Trevor, a professional Fortnite player with the muscle tone of overcooked spaghetti, had developed an unhealthy obsession with my motorcycle after seeing it once. The harassment began subtly. Purple gel pen notes appeared under my windshield wiper. "Dear resident, your loud, obnoxious vehicle is disturbing the peace and tranquility of our family-oriented community." Unsigned, of course, but unmistakably hers. The handwriting mirrored the HOA violation notices she handed out like Halloween candy. Then came the official citations, handwritten on HOA letterhead she clearly printed at home. They demanded I remove the loud, vulgar machine from my property within 72 hours or face fines. The problem? Motorcycles weren't prohibited in our CC&R, and I kept mine tucked in my garage when not in use. But facts had never stopped Claudia. Her surveillance escalated quickly. She lurked near my garage at odd hours, phone in hand, camera aimed conspicuously low. Once I discovered a baby monitor hidden behind my hedge, presumably to eavesdrop on my rebellious engine. "Noises." I returned it to her. Doorstep with a note suggesting she might try using it for actual babies instead of grown men's motorcycles. Things got even stranger when Trevor began calling me stepdad whenever he saw me, all because I politely refused his request to just sit on the bike for a second. Naturally, Claudia blamed me for seducing her child with dangerous masculinity. She actually said those words at an HOA meeting, a meeting I attended to file a harassment complaint. That meeting was nothing short of a spectacle. Claudia had convened an emergency session in her living room, claiming the community clubhouse was being fumigated. No other board members showed up, but she boldly declared herself unanimously vindicated and my harassment complaint dismissed. She even typed up her own meeting minutes afterward, listing herself as president, secretary, treasurer, and sole attendee, a one-woman HOA dictatorship. Things finally reached a breaking point last Tuesday. I was working from home on a critical call with Attorney Harrison regarding an unrelated HOA fraud case in Gainesville. We were analyzing embezzlement patterns when a metallic scraping echoed from my garage. I peered through the window and saw Trevor, armed with what looked like a butter knife, attempting to start my Harley. The bike lurched, sending him tumbling directly into my prized alia bushes. As if on cue, Claudia appeared, as though she had been lurking in the shadows waiting for this moment. She scooped Trevor up and placed him on the lawn, where he began his over-the-top performance of agony and emotional trauma. She immediately dialed 911, claiming I had enticed a minor with weaponized transportation. Yes, she actually said weaponized transportation to the dispatcher. Thanks to modern technology, my phone captured every word. Harrison heard Claudia shrieking about imaginary ordinances, Trevor's melodramatic sobbing despite zero injuries, and my calm offer of lemonade to everyone involved. The state attorney's office received a real-time masterclass in false reporting and harassment. When the officers finally arrived, Claudia launched into her rehearsed speech about protecting children from predatory vehicle owners. She cited the Homeowner Sovereignty Clause 12C, yet another figment of her imagination, and demanded my arrest for violating her son's civil right to motorcycle ownership. The lead officer, Sergeant Peterson, visibly fought to suppress a laugh. "Ma'am," he said patiently, "refusing to hand over your property isn't a crime. If anything, your son attempting to steal the motorcycle is the actual offense." Claudia's face turned purple with rage. She ranted about how she had been documenting my antisocial behavior for months, accused me of corrupting the youth with my rebellious lifestyle, and threatened to notify the mayor, governor, and even the president. That's when Sergeant Peterson paused. "Aren't you the lady who called us about the satanic skeleton last Halloween?" he asked. Apparently, Claudia had once reported a neighbor's plastic Halloween decoration as promoting devil worship and demanded a SWAT team response. The officers exchanged knowing looks. They reviewed my security camera footage, which clearly showed Trevor breaking into my garage and attempting to steal my motorcycle. They listened to my recorded phone call, which Harrison confirmed he had been capturing for quality assurance. The evidence was indisputable. Trevor's attempted joyride was classified as tampering with private property and attempted theft. Claudia received a citation for filing a false police report and wasting emergency resources. The officers patiently explained that crying wolf about phantom crimes is, in fact, illegal. Claudia attempted to defend herself by acting in her capacity as HOA president, but Sergeant Peterson made it clear that vigilantism was not covered under HOA bylaws. The following week's HOA meeting was scheduled, and word of Claudia's latest stunt had spread. I suggested to Harrison that it be broadcast on local access television as a civic education initiative. The county loved the idea of transparency in HOA governance. The meeting was standing room only. Neighbors who hadn't attended in years showed up with popcorn. Claudia tried to control the agenda, but board member Patricia Garrett immediately called for a vote of no confidence. Claudia attempted a filibuster, reading passages from The Art of the Deal, claiming executive immunity as a fellow business person. The vote was dramatic. 3 board members voted to remove her, 2 abstained out of fear, and Claudia voted for herself, demanding a raise and expanded powers. According to the bylaws she had neglected to read carefully, a simple majority was enough. She was officially removed as president, effective immediately. As part of a legal settlement to avoid criminal charges, Claudia was required to write a public letter of apology to me. She tried Latin to sound intellectual, but her Google Translate skills were disastrous. The published letter, roughly translating to "My sorry, Harley daddy of sin," became an instant neighborhood legend. Trevor was issued a no-contact order and banned from approaching my property. HOA bylaws were amended to prohibit aspirational theft, defined as attempting to take someone else's property simply because you really want it. Claudia was ordered to pay $5,000 in legal fees and fines. She shrieked in the courtroom, "That's theft! That's extortion! I'll sue everyone in this room!" The judge calmly informed her that threatening to sue the court was contempt of court, adding another $1,000 to her fine. Her face drained from purple to ghostly white as she realized her HOA president's salary wouldn't even cover a fraction of the penalties.